I really feel like I live my best life when I'm here in my home. My family, my friends, they all thought it was absolutely crazy. And they were like, you should rent something and see how you like it. And I was like, nah. I'm just gonna buy this van that I found. It has a motorized lift gate that I could use as a deck. And then I go over to the side and there's a little button that I just lower it all the way down to the ground. I'm actually underneath the bed right now. The bed is on a Happy Jack lift system. So when I wake up in the morning, make my bed, get out of bed and just raise it so that it kind of opens up this space. The hallway goes from this space to like me slivering through. This really feels like I'm living in a home, and that's anyone that comes in here, they always say that. I like to like light a candle and like I have my couch, like I have real home things. You know, I'm usually parked in really cool, pretty places. The only difference is I can drive my home somewhere that, you know, I couldn't if it was an actual apartment, but it feels pretty close. I'm Morgan DeCanio. I've been living nomadically for probably about 3 years now. It started because I lived in Greece for 6 months and I traveled all around Greece and Europe. Every weekend I would just look up flights where to go and find a new country and bounce around, and I absolutely loved it. I was originally at a military academy, West Point, and I ended up getting a medical discharge. I had some complications, some surgeries, and got out, and I was like, what do I do now? In my head, I had this vision of being in the Army for 20 years and having everything laid out and planned out for me. So when that fell through, I was like, what's like the furthest I could do from this? And I had seen like a few videos of people just traveling around in a van, and I was like, that seems pretty cool. I think I would like to do that. I was bouncing the idea around with my family, my friends. They all thought it was absolutely crazy. You know, I grew up in Washington, D.C., so it's very different, you know, than anything I had never known anybody to do this. I remember like sitting down and talking with my parents, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna do this. And they were like, you should rent something and see how you like it. And I was like, nah, I'm just gonna buy this van that I found. And I lived in that for a year, traveling all around so many new places. And it just like snowballed from there. I met more and more people. I went to a van event and just like flourished. I mean, I was thriving. I was loving the freedom. It was probably about a year, and I was like, I could see myself really doing this for at least now. Who knows how long, but yeah, I loved it. I live in this 2006 Isuzu NPR box truck. I bought it about 2 years ago now. It had 48,000 miles on it. It's a diesel. The hope is that it'll last me a lifetime. It's been about a year now that I've been full-time on the road in the truck. In terms of cost, the truck ran me 20 grand, and the build, my guess would probably be another 20, maybe 25. Yeah, I would guess somewhere around 50 grand total. This really feels like I'm living in a home, and that's anyone that comes in here, they always say that. I like to like light a candle and like I have my couch, like I have real home things. When I thought about living nomadically kind of longer term, that felt important to me, to really be able to like make a full meal, have a full fridge, you know, do skincare and like all these things that I really like, but it's easier to just toss it aside when you're kind of living transiently. Really feels just like normal, and I can just, the only difference is I can drive my home somewhere that, you know, I couldn't if it was an actual apartment, but it feels pretty close. The box truck is 7 feet tall, 8 feet wide, and 16 feet long. So it had about 48,000 miles on it when I bought it from my uncle. I think I've put around 10,000 on it, and I personally love driving it. It's the biggest truck I've ever driven, but it feels so easy and compact. The turning radius is great. It's a pretty short wheelbase, so I find it super comfortable to drive. With the cab over, I sit right on top of the wheel, so sometimes if I hit a pothole, I definitely get a few inches, but it keeps it fun. The main sliding door entrance, I have some stairs inside, but we'll start with the back. That's my favorite part. So this is probably my favorite part of the truck. It has a motorized lift gate that I could use as a deck, and I didn't have that in my old van. So I was like, man, yeah, that would be cool. and I love it. I got this turf so I could just sit here and relax or open the doors and sit on the couch. So the truck actually came with a roll-up door that was the first thing I did. I took the roll-up door out and built these doors. They're 2 barn doors that open out, and then top acts as an awning that eventually will go on struts and kind of block the sun. But yeah, for now, the bike, I just open these doors and roll it out, put it on the lift gate. It fits perfectly at its angle. And then I go over to the side and there's a little button that I just lower it all the way down to the ground. And let's go in and check out the inside. Welcome inside to the living room. This is probably where I spend most of my time during the day. I have a real couch because I often find that like homemade van couches, no offense, are not usually that comfortable. And I love couch time, so I got a real couch. I've got some storage underneath here, and along with a storage ottoman. That's nice to just like keep things in. I have some clothes, some electronics, things like that, some hobby fun stuff. But yeah, I'm actually underneath the bed right now. The bed is on a Happy Jack lift system. So when I wake up in the morning, make my bed, get out of bed and just raise it, so that it kind of opens up this space. And yeah, it's really just a good hangout space. I love having a TV and doing work here. It makes it really comfortable. I have the 2 Arctic Tern windows across from each other. That's nice whether I'm in the living room or down in or up in my bed. It's really nice to have that cross breeze. I love to just hang out here with the doors open and look outside back at the view. It's, you know, I'm usually parked in really cool, pretty places. So moving in here, I really wanted to have the separation of space. So like this is my full living room. And then yeah, at night when I lower the bed, it's like it becomes my bedroom. So I really like the idea of the separation of space and different rooms. So the bed I usually lower right to about the countertop. So then the counter creates a bedside table. Move right here. And there we go. I have a full-size bed. It's roomy. I've got a fan. And yeah, the windows create a nice cross breeze. It's super comfortable. So I have a full-size bed. I wanted to do the Happy Jack system, just so when I wake up in the morning, I can make my bed and raise the bed, get it out of the way, and then have my full living space. It creates a really nice garage underneath for my motorcycle. And yeah, it makes a nice hangout space underneath with the living room and the kitchen. Again, I like the separation of space and rooms, so I've got a full bathroom, a full kitchen, full living room, and now when I lower the bed, I have a full bedroom. So here is my motorcycle. It's a 2020 Honda Monkey, and I love it. I used to carry it on my van on a hitch carrier, and people, you know, when I was thinking about how to design my space, I really wanted to have the bike, but I didn't want to add exterior length. So I just figured I'd keep it inside, and I've had no issues. It's a new bike, so I haven't, at least to my knowledge, had any issues with fumes or anything like that. It's pretty well ventilated back here with the windows open, fan, back doors. So yeah, it's great to have. It's totally worth it for me. I did a floor raise. We move up into the kitchen. The L-shaped countertop kind of helps facilitate that. So here's my hallway. It looks nice and wide right now, but this also ends up being my pile corner that, you know, when things are just around, I tend to push them here, and, you know, the hallway goes from this space to like me slivering through. But yeah, ideally it's clean and nice, wide, open space. It's great. Welcome to the kitchen. This has become probably one of my favorite parts of like having an upgraded truck. I used to live in a low roof Ford Econoline that barely had a sink, barely had a countertop, and cooking has become something that's important to me. I really enjoy the process of it. I wanted to have a big countertop set up. I have a double induction stove, a microwave oven, and yeah, just the really big countertop is super nice. I've been really into making homemade pasta, so this is like the perfect surface to do it. I just put the flour, crack the eggs, do it all right there. It's a micro cement countertop that I made. So it's more resistant to, you know, scratches and heat and all that. And yeah, it matches my bathroom, which you'll see in a little bit. I have a big sink, which is super nice because when you drive sometimes, like if I gotta leave somewhere quick, it's nice to just like put things in there and not worry about them flying off the counter. So the cabinets, I was able to save a ton of time throughout my build process by just buying them from Home Depot. That's one thing that's super nice about the box truck is everything is square. So these are literally just house cabinets. And yeah, they're the best. It saved me so much time in my build that I was kind of rushing through. Here I have my double induction cooktop. Everything in my truck is all powered by electrical. There's no propane, nothing. I have 1200 watts of bifacial solar panels up top. So I built a custom roof rack that's a few inches off the roof, fiberglass roof, so I didn't want to drill anything directly through. But I did paint a reflective roof coating, so I get, you know, some extra solar through the bifacial panels. I have 412 specific amp hours of lithium batteries, and yeah, I'm able to power everything, and it's great. I use Starlink, electric bed lift, cooktop, microwave. It's great. So I have 2 drawers, one small. Up here, again, everything is miscellaneous. Down here, some cooking things. And here, I keep trash, you know, extra supplies, things like that. Here I have in-wall storage. It's kind of nice. I used to have plants and things, you know, about a week into the road until they died. So I had like sprouts and all those things there. Now I just kind of fill it with like things that I really like. So I have some cards, this little guy that my friend made, an icon from Greece, and yeah, just some of my favorite things. I love this camera, taking pictures, some art. Another big kitchen upgrade for me has been the fridge and freezer combo. I only had a small chest fridge in my old van, and I wanted a freezer for sure. And just the size of this, it's like not a full size, it's probably a 3/4 size, which is pretty good. The freezer, I love having a freezer. It makes it possible to like really go off grid for much longer than you can with, you know, just a fridge and things going bad. But yeah, I try to keep it well stocked, and it has a little latch so that when I drive, nothing flies out yet. I have a closet here for some hanging storage for my jackets, vests, things like that. Up here is just some extra storage, hobbies, games. I love games, so I keep them all up here. Easily accessible, slackline, things like that. And yeah, it's super nice. All right, so we're back to the front of the truck where we started. This is the side door that I use as my main entrance. And then I just have storage here. So these are all clothes, my main clothing storage in this dresser. And then just some miscellaneous things. Up here I have all my books, journals, things like that. Tea, a tea box. I love tea, that's important to me. Up here is an electrical panel. It's kind of a mess up there, but it's all in here. Here is my whole electrical setup. It is all Victron powered SOK batteries. Those are 206 amp hours of lithium battery each, totaling to 412. And then I have a 3000 watt inverter, yeah, solar charge controller, all that good stuff. In here I have my shower and bathroom. I use a dry flush toilet, and I have 42 gallons of fresh water with the water heater, so I take showers pretty regularly. This is the micro cement walls that matches my countertops. And yeah, I love the bathroom vibe in here. The light fixture, when I was building it, I had the LED strip and I would just hang it over like the framing. And I was like, man, I really like the way that looks. And so when I finished it, I was like, I think I'm just gonna do like a kind of creative setup like that. And it became like one of my favorite parts. So I love the bathroom. As I mentioned earlier, I raised the floor in the kitchen so that you step down into the living room, but it also allowed me to run the plumbing lines and some electrical lines through the floor. And then I also created this little secret hatch that I use for shoe storage and some random things. I don't know that I would still be living on the road if I hadn't had my eyes open to the community and the possibility and the normalcy that I felt of like, oh, this isn't like a weird thing to do. Like, you know, this is a great way to live your life. And, you know, travel, see places, meet people. I really feel like I live my best life when I'm here in my home. And, you know, I have a workout equipment and I could set it out on the deck and like do my full little gym and, you know, have a good routine that really feels just like normal, all while working a 9-to-5 or, you know, working your own little business. Like it opened my eyes up to all the possibilities that existed outside of like living in a house, stationary, working a 9-to-5, which has never really appealed to me that much. It was a really, really good thing for me.
If you like this week's episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and check back soon because we have new unique home tours publishing all the time. And if you'd like to join our team and get access to members-only content and unique perks, make sure you click on the join button below.